What's going on YouTube? Big Dog Brett, welcome back to the channel. I'm going to give everybody a few minutes here to jump on, kind of see how things go. Broadcasting live from the Big Dog Brett mobile studio. Good morning, good morning. How's everybody doing today? So we're gonna get into it here in just a few minutes. I'm gonna give everybody a few more minutes to go on. Hey, what's going on, Keith? Good morning, sir. Fried gator, smoked. John, you never disappoint, man. Never disappoint. So it's been a pretty interesting couple of days as far as the University of Georgia and the University of Florida goes. I've got, complete dumpster fire. I've got my target listed here for, I think, who we're going to end up playing for the national championship. Yeah, it's and the funniest part to me, the absolute funniest part. What's going on, SEC dog? And it's getting better and better day to be a dog. Absolutely, man. Oh my goodness, they got folks bailing off this ship left and right. Found out this morning the Mascots entered the transfer portal. Everybody's leaving. It turns out they may have to forfeit their games because at this rate they're not gonna have any players left. Right now, I think they have lost 2 5-stars and at least two 4-stars. It's just all over the place. I'm gonna kind of go over the list here of who's missing or who's backed out. So obviously we know Jalen Jones is gone. Jalen Jones accused of sexual assault, and I'm not here to say he did or didn't do it. That's politics, and that's none of my business. But he's no longer at University of Florida, so that's a problem for them. Then their other quarterback, Steele had requested. He's like, "Look, dude, I don't want to be in this guy's room. I don't want to be associated with this guy. I don't want to be around this guy. This guy's got a bad cloud around him. I just want to be somewhere else." And they ignored this guy. He's only been on campus for like 2-3 months. You would think that you've got Felipe Franks, who's going to be leaving soon, most likely. And the state of Florida is decommitted from the University of Florida, pretty much. I think it's absolutely hilarious that after Dan Mullen goes out there and talks all this smack, and I'm going to go all the way back to the whole Justin Fields thing, that really kind of aggravated me. So I'm gonna read it quote for quote. "I think we did a poor job recruiting if guys were coming in and then immediately walking out the door because it was something different than what they thought it would be, and we lied to them during recruiting, or we sold them a dream that just wasn't true." Absolutely, Coach Mullen, you're dead accurate. Except with Georgia, it was one player. With Florida, it's like 6 or 7 at this point. So you're gonna jump on us and start talking all this smack, and maybe you should have been worried about what your team was doing. You should have been worried about what your coaches were doing with your recruits and handling your business in-house rather than trying to troll Georgia. You're not Steve Spurrier. You're not even close to being Steve Spurrier. I can't stand Steve Spurrier, but I will give him the respect due when it came to talking smack and winning games. He could do it. So it's who else is left? Dink Johnson, Trevante Rucker, and I wouldn't be surprised that if over the next couple of days that you don't see, another 3 or 4 guys disappear, because things like this tend to have a snowball effect, and guys are not going to want to fill that gap. They're just not. They're not interested in trying to help Florida recover an image that it doesn't even really have. So with the amount of damage that's been done, the question is Mullen smart enough at this point to learn his lesson and shut his mouth? I doubt it. But he needs to understand that trash talk is fine when it's appropriate. But just out there just poking a bear with a stick or poking a bulldog with a stick is not smart if you're losing players left and right. I don't think he said a word on social media here lately. Florida loaded with 5 stars. Yeah, and he has 0 5 stars. Now, 22 to Florida, duh. So, I think Georgia scored more than 22 points just because of DeAndre Swift and Brian Herring. But one of the things that I was thinking about was if Florida was dominant in the SEC, which they haven't been since they lost McElwain. Now, when they had McElwain, they won the East twice, back to back. And that wasn't good enough for Florida. You know what, John? You're absolutely right. I would love to shut them out. They shut them out and shut them up. But I guess they're not. I guess Coach Mullen's not smart enough to realize when he's licked. I mean, if the games were even competitive, I'd be like, okay. Whenever we beat them the first game, I think it was 42 points. I think it was 42. It was 42 or 44 to 7 or something like that. And the first thing the player said was, well, it was closer than what the score showed. Well, how much closer was it? Mullen retired for health reasons. What's up, Lou? Oh my goodness, he's gonna be the next one to be like Urban Meyer. His heart's breaking down on him. I've heard now that whenever they're offering the new recruits a scholarship, they actually offer them their first bail out of jail free. They pay to get them out the first time. If they want to stay with the team, they get a get out of jail free card. That's part of the recruitment process. So since it's not actually money, technically it's allowed. Florida fans right now are wishing that they would have kept Coach Mullen. Oh my! I mean, not Coach Mullen. They're wishing they'd have kept McElwain. McElwain, while he may not have had all the spark and flash, I think in the first 3 years the guy did pretty good. And now you got Mullen who comes in. I still can't believe they fired McElwain, and then they hired Mullen, which I'm completely fine with at this point. And think about this from a recruiting standpoint. If now, as a Power 5 team, the team that you have to recruit against out of Florida is the University of Central Florida. You don't have to worry about the Florida State Seminoles. You don't have to worry about the University of Miami. You don't have to worry about the University of Florida. So University of Central Florida is now the best team in Florida. I don't know. When it comes down at the end of the day, whenever we play Florida, you're going to see that there's more talent on the field on just one side of the ball than all of Florida has on their entire team. And I don't care how many guys they have returning. They lost guys. The guys that they had in there playing last year, I was not impressed with. Jake Fromm handily took care of business against Florida both years. DeAndre Swift and Brian Herring are going to be just as good as anybody else that's played against Florida. We've got some better receivers, and I think Georgia's defense is actually going to be better this year than it was last year. Florida doesn't have a run game. I think they're trying to be an air raid offense, but they just don't have the guys for it. I think they want to be an LSU style team, but they just don't have the manpower for it. And in the meantime, I don't know how they're going to get it, because if they're recruiting players that fit that profile, those players would much rather go play at LSU, or at least I would think they would. I would not want to play at Florida. I'm not a big fan of Florida for sure, but there's no way that I would play for Florida if I had an opportunity to go play for LSU. Yeah, John, I think you may be right. I think this defense may be the best we've had. I mean, I don't think we have a Roquan, and I don't think we have a Roquan Smith, but somebody on the inside linebacker has got to step up and clog that hole. Hey, what's up, Saul? You my buddy. Hey, we're going to that baseball game. Don't forget now. Hey Sawyer, we got a brand new trampoline. You guys need to come over and try it out. And we got netting on it and everything. I think you guys would have a blast. But anyway, as far as the teams go, this just makes it easier and easier for Georgia to recruit against Florida. I mean, that was basically the one, in my opinion, the one team out of Florida that could recruit against Georgia. Florida guys that loved the SEC, that wanted to play in the SEC but didn't want to play against, didn't necessarily want to play for Georgia, would rather have played for, a Florida team. But man, with all the stuff that keeps going on at Florida, I mean, you got guys running around smacking bookies with frying pans or whatever in the heck it was, and then you got credit card fraud or robbing the bookstore or whatever it was. Now you got more sexual assault allegations. I mean, now don't get me wrong, Georgia has its fair share of problems and run-ins with the law. I don't really seen today the Atlanta Braves is having Florida Gator Day. I'm about to look that up, man. I'm about to look that up. I do want to shut out. I absolutely want to shut out against Florida, but Georgia's had its fair share of run-ins with the law, and we try to do a pretty good job of getting those guys turned around. Now, you do something 2 or 3 times, you got to go. I mean, at that point, either you've got a serious problem or you just don't care enough about the rest of the team to stop doing what you're doing. You know, a lot of these guys are very they're taught to be aggressive on the field, and some of that times it bleeds over into real life. Some of these guys come from small communities, and then you stick them into a party environment like Athens or a major university, and it begins to be a problem for them. They can't really handle it. And then you got this huge gap of downtime in the off season where these guys are basically just running around. Seen it on a Facebook ad. Bryson, what do you mean? Who's entitled? Allergies are killing me today. It's a little overcast. I was going to sit outside, but it's kind of muggy. So I thought I'd sit inside. Or, sit inside here. Hey, what's up, Miller? Hey, thanks for the super chat. Do you think we will get flow? Flow. Am I missing something? Hold on. Who's Flo? It kind of concerns me if I've missed a player somewhere. I'm trying to pull it up right now. Hang tight. I don't know what you mean on Flo, buddy. Justin Flo? Who is that? Hang on. Now you guys got me doubting myself. I don't even know who that is. I'll probably know who it is as soon as I pull it up. Oh, you're talking about the guy out of California, that inside linebacker. You know, I don't know. Stats pulled up. He's looking at Alabama. Florida is in the mix, but I bet not anymore. LSU is up there. Oklahoma's on there. And Oregon's on there. He's got 3 SEC teams, and maybe if he's looking at Florida, they got a crystal ball prediction that says USC or in University of Southern California, but I don't know. I'll have to dig into that some more, but I'll find out. You heard we had a good shot at him. I'll have to look it up, man. And yeah, we've got several other 5-stars that are coming along, and after this season, I'm looking forward to this season. I want to see Georgia sweep the East. If Georgia sweeps the East, I think it'll be the first time in SEC history that any football team has swept the East 3 times in a row. So we'll see what happens. I'm really excited about that prospect. I'm hoping Kirby has got us this year on a revenge tour. We've definitely got the talent. Striking ability, instincts, play in space, athleticism, tackling, lateral movement, coverage ability, and size. He's a big boy. He's certainly a big boy. He's a 9.984 5-star, 6'2", 225 inside linebacker. He could probably stand to put a little weight on his frame, but they do a good job of that at high school. I mean, they do a good job of bringing those guys out of high school and getting them put on a little weight. If he's already got that kind of mobility and he could already see that well, that guy would be excellent. But we'll find out. But yeah, Florida. We lied to him. We lied to him. We told him, you can have any dorm room you want. And so, no, we're going to put you in here with this guy, and he's going to transfer. I wonder if there's a limit to how many players can transfer off of a team into a transfer portal. I wonder. Be interesting to see if they, how many people jump ship, because there's going to be some more. This isn't going to be the last one. I heard last night there was another 4-star that decommitted. I can't remember. Was it a cornerback? I think it was. Yeah. It was 4-star cornerback Joseph Johnson. Opened his recruitment back up and is now looking at multiple visits. He was committed to North Carolina State, and this the reason I bring this guy up is because I want to see this. I'd love to see this guy come to Georgia. This guy has a lot of skills. If you guys get a chance, go look him up. He was committed to Florida, but Joseph Johnson. So that's another one that's dipped out. Hey, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up, guys. It helps the metric and all that other happy stuff, and share it and tell your friends on Facebook and Twitter and the book face and all that other stuff. So yeah, the dumpster fire continues. And right now you got to be wondering if Mullen is starting to reconsider the stuff he's in. If too many, hold on, I missed something. Loving the corner, absolutely. If too many transfer, the radiation from the portal will cause black hole where the school used to be. Our 3-4 defense attracts the best linebackers. It should. UGA's biggest game is Texas A&M. Close. That's real close to being correct, Bryson. Players are seeing what they have for a circus clown instead of a real football coach. I absolutely agree with that. I think the more, I think that Dan Mullen is another one of those high-profile individuals that needs to have his Twitter account taken away from him. He needs to not be allowed to talk to his media. He needs to let his PR people do that because he sucks at it. They need to get him back on the script. Auburn game is our toughest game. I don't know, John. I don't think so. Hey, what's going on, Nicholas? I personally think that the Texas A&M game is going to be our second toughest game. I think our toughest game is going to be whoever we play in the SEC championship, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be Alabama. Alabama has a cakewalk. I'm hoping that it's that Jordan Hare. I'm not worried about Jordan Hare, and there's a lot of people out there that say, we can't beat a SEC team West on the road. I think that just happens to be one of those stats that kind of fall that way. Obviously, it's something worth taking note of, but I think that is just kind of been. I think it's kind of been a fluke. Now we'll find out, but but I kind of think that's a fluke. At least I want it to be. I feel like Florida is going to be the hardest. Oh, I don't know, Miller. I doubt it. I think their team is going to be so demoralized at this point, watching everybody jump ship. You got guys that, even though they're on the team, they've probably been questioning whether or not they want to stick around with Coach Mullen as well. So, I mean, it's highly likely that you're going to see more guys jump. Auburn's going to suck this year, absolutely. I don't know how long they're going to be able to keep Gus Miles on at Auburn. He's like Bobby Dodd, man. He's like Bobby Dodd. Have I been watching the playoffs? No. Sorry, bud. I don't get much into basketball. It's not my thing. If that's what you're talking about. Now, if you're talking about softball, yeah, I like watching girls softball. That stuff's awesome. How big is it Georgia opening up against an SEC opponent? Oh, man. I don't know if you guys remember this. I don't know how much. I think we go undefeated in the regular season and then we continue to win it all. We certainly have the team for it. We could definitely go all the way this year. But when you say that, you sound like such a homer. But this year, I think it's true. But you also sound like a homer when you say that. How big is it, Georgia? Vandy. Bryson said Vandy. I think You know what? I think that. Well, let me. I'm going to talk about who we're opening up. Over under 75 yards on Zeus week 1. I say under. I think under 75 yards. I think that they're still watching that guy's leg pretty close. So I don't think he gets many carries. Now, if he busts loose on one, because we're playing third string guys, we've wore them out so bad, maybe. But I would say under. You guys may not remember, but years ago, I think we opened with Boise State, and we lost on the opening game. And ever since then, man, opening games have always terrified me. I'm always worried that we're going to lose the first one, because that made the rest of the season suck. You started out on a loss, no matter what. You had a losing season opening up. I just hated that. There was somebody else's comment, Vandy. I think that as far as a little birdie tells me, Zeus is 100% in plans to unleash him week 1. That would be incredible. I would love to see Zeus come out and manhandle some folks, but that whole freshman thing, man, always makes me wonder. But I'd love to see it. If I'm wrong, I'd be happy to be wrong about that one. I wanted to kind of talk about who I thought the second best team in the East was going to be. They all suck. All of them suck. I don't even know where to pick, man. They will keep Gus for a while. His mousetrap is the one that can beat Mizzou second in the East. That's probably true. If for no other reason, that they just are better put together than everybody else at this point. His mousetrap is the one that can beat Alabama if they're close. Alabama talent, boy QB is the difference. COSU, a Cardinal. I'll have to check. I don't know. I think the problem with Auburn is that by the time, I think there's such a stigmatism between the way Alabama just manhandles Auburn. I don't think it's a real big deal to have to worry about them beating Auburn. The team that I think could beat Alabama, honestly, I think Texas A&M could sneak up on Alabama. Now, I know it's hard to sneak up on Alabama, but I think Texas A&M could do it. They've got some talent there. I think Florida steps back, 7-8 wins. That's likely. Auburn 7-win team. That's probably accurate too. I think Texas A&M could come in second place behind Alabama. I think there's an outside shot that LSU could beat Alabama. But I think Texas A&M could beat Alabama. If Texas A&M beats Alabama and runs the table, we'll play them. If we play them, we should beat them. And then off to the playoffs we go. But we play Texas A&M, and it's one of those weird seasons where if Texas A&M beats Alabama and then we play in the SEC championship, and we play them in a regular season and beat them, and then play them in the SEC championship and lose, and that's our only loss, how does that work, Malzahn plus new quarterback, he was burned down too. Malzahn is the most overpaid bonehead in the SEC. Golly, they pay that guy way too much, way too much. And he had that one season where he beat Georgia and he beat Alabama back to back. So the conversation was, hey, look, I know I can do it. I did it back to back. It wasn't just a fluke. And then he got demolished against Georgia in the SEC championship game. Lifetime contracts for Calzone and Mullet. Yeah. I'd even be okay with a lifetime contract to our fellow Georgia alumni that's coaching over in South Carolina. We just about got it figured out. Mullen's burning himself down. I'm good with that. You got Chaney up in Tennessee. We know what he's going to do. He's going to always screw up in the second half of a game. So that should be easy enough to beat him. We got Muschamp over there burning South Carolina down for us. So, hey, we got some stuff headed in the right direction. Vandy is of no concern. And so now you're looking at Missouri. Missouri is, they kind of have more of that Big 12, Big 10 offense, that air raid stuff. They were doing a pretty good job of running the ball, but Georgia's done a good job of shutting it down. Notice I didn't bring up Kentucky. There's no need to. Kentucky, I think they're going to have an okay team this year. And I almost hate to say it, that's probably going to be the team I expect to come in third. Muschamp has more 5 stars than Mullet. Yeah, I think he's got 1. Does FSU get back right this year? No. FSU is almost as big of a dumpster fire as Florida. They suck. And for whatever reason, these Noel fans are jumping up and down, running around with spears, talking about what land they're going to steal next, and they cannot get it together. We're going, and if any of you guys live in the forums like I do, I read stuff all the time in these football forums, Smash Talk, SEC. I'm in a couple of the Alabama groups, and just listen to the overflow of FSU and how it bleeds into everything else. And it's like, you guys are the most ridiculous fan base and have nothing to show for it. And the only thing they can throw back at Georgia is, they had a championship in 1980. Hey, whatever, man. See, Mark Paul says, interesting. I think the only team that can play a similar style to Alabama and win is Georgia. 230-pound line quarterback is a spread is D to beat Alabama, with the exception of Cam, that never plays and never make it to the NFL. College football is sad. Yeah. The one thing I will say is that I don't think that the University of Central Florida is a powerhouse team. I don't feel like those guys are ever going to be a major contender until they either join a serious conference, they join a Power 5 conference and dominate it. No matter how they schedule their conferences, no matter how they schedule what game schedule, there's no real reason for any Power 5 team to play UCF. And with the way that scheduling is going now, where they're scheduling games out to like 2030, it's going to be real difficult for UCF to be taken seriously if they don't join a conference. And I feel the same way about Notre Dame. I'm never going to take Notre Dame seriously until they actually join the ACC like the rest of their teams. Because if you're a Power 5 school, let's say that you're a Georgia, an Alabama, an LSU, an A&M, a Sooner, a Longhorn, Mizzou, if you're one of those teams, you have no reason to play those guys in a regular season. None. It does you no good. Nobody else believes they're a contender. It doesn't help your strength of schedule. You certainly don't want to play a game at their stadium because it's that blame small, if I recall correctly. And if you beat them, everybody goes, well, yeah, you should have beat them. And if you lose, then you're going to get smack talked about you, and it's not really going to give you a whole lot of credit. It's not really going to give a whole lot of credit to UCF, because they'd have to do that multiple times, and the likelihood of that happening is just about nil. And it's not only because they don't have the talent on the field. I'm sorry, they don't. Nebraska, and he was a dumpster fire. And as far as I'm concerned, still is. Now, is Nebraska going to get a little better? Yeah, Nebraska's going to get a little better. But are they going to return to the legacy that they were trying to build? Highly unlikely. Highly unlikely. Not in the next 5 or 6 years. I was on love that high school offense. Yeah, I think Georgia Tech should have played Auburn every year. I remember when UF, Miami, and FSU for almost a decade were all in the top 10. No more. Notre Dame is in the same boat. Excellent point. And to me, if you don't play, this is just my opinion, if you're going to have a college football playoff, which is what we have, you should have to play and win your division championship. How can you possibly be a contender for a national championship if you're not even your division champion? Now, some people can make the argument, well, Alabama beat them and they didn't win their division championship. That's not what I'm talking. Yeah, you're a national champion, but you're not even a champion of your own division. So by proxy, does that mean that the team that beat you for your division championship is better than you are? Well, no, because you played them in the playoff and you lost or whatever. See, it doesn't need to work that way. You should have to play a division championship to play in a national championship. And if you have four teams, You'd have have the SEC, the Pac-10, the SEC, the Big 10, the Big 12, and the Pac-10 or whatever other one you want to throw out there. ACC. You could easily pick out of those four to which one's going to be a national title contender. You just can. And I mean, and don't say that that's not fair, because they basically do that anyway. They basically unveil who they want to play. Somebody's going to get left out, and it happens that way every year. Here recently seems to have been Ohio State more than anybody else, but it is what it is. So I just think that in the long run, hey, what's going on, Southern Buck? I just think in the long run that when you've got an independent that can come in and play in the playoff, and they really don't have that strong of a schedule, or they have an okay schedule, but you won't even consider UCF, who was undefeated, it's messed up. So you have to have some value. It has to have value to play for your division championship. That's just the way I feel about it. Oh man. Somebody asked me the other day if they thought Jalen Hurts would transfer to Florida. I don't know. Who has a better season, Oklahoma or Ohio State? Oklahoma. Easily. What's up, Dwayne? All is well in Tuscaloosa. We'll see the Dogs in the SEC championship game. I absolutely believe that to be the case, sir. It's nice to hear from the other side of the fence that's what you guys are expecting. What's up, Gage? Ain't seen you in a hot minute, dude. Most exciting player in the SEC, and you can't name a UGA player. Golly. I guess I kind of got to take Tua off the table too. I would say Tua, just because of the amount of attention that guy gets. He can play, he can throw. But what was that guy's name? Golly. Give me just a second. I'm trying to find this guy's name. Oh, I guess he graduated. Never mind. No, Judy's good, but yeah, Judy's good, but that's not the guy I'm looking for. I cannot remember. Lou is forcing me to actually look this guy's name up. Where's he at? Now I'm stuck. Waddle? Why is everybody? No, Snell's already graduated. I know about him. Come on. He had a name. He had a name I kept correlating with a movie character. Oh, it was Corbin at Texas A&M. He that guy's going to be filling a role for Williams. Williams went to the NFL, and if you watch this guy at Texas A&M, Drew Lock, no, not Drew Lock. Corbin, he only had 61 carries last year, but he returned a kick 100 yards against Arkansas, and I watched that guy, and he's just got some breakaway speed. Average like 5.7 yards a carry, which is really, really good. Hey, Sarah, what's up? Which is really, really good for a player who is basically, I mean, he's running for Texas A&M. I mean, the guy was good. He didn't play in the spring game, but I think he's going to be a breakout player. Kelly Bryant. Everybody likes to point at quarterbacks. I'm a running back guy. I think that with Texas A&M's new team, new setup, I think Corbin can be a real asset. Frank's in a dumpster fire. Where the mustard? The mustard's on the corn dogs over at LSU. Sorry. Deshaun Corbin is his name. I couldn't remember that guy's name to save my life, but I kept relaying that guy, Killer Buell flip flop. I kept relating that guy to Bruce Willis in The Fifth Element. Corbin, my man. Oh man, what to expect? I think that Alabama's real dominant. I think that Texas A&M is probably a runner-up. Maybe some fist fighting with LSU for that position. And then whatever falls in after that. Arkansas is still somewhere in la la land as far as the SEC goes. They're nowhere near relevancy. In the East, it's probably going to be Georgia, and I would have said Florida, but Florida's falling apart. Best teams outside of the SEC: Oklahoma, Ohio, Clemson, Washington. I'm kind of big on Washington this year. We'll see what they do. Some people are talking Oregon. Thoughts on Penn State? Penn State has an opportunity to do something, but unfortunately, I don't think their strength of schedule is going to allow them to really do much, and I certainly don't feel like they can win their division. I think Penn State should probably be ranked somewhere around 20th in the nation. What was you guys' recruiting class? I thought you guys did pretty good on recruiting for Penn State. I don't know. I got it here somewhere. Let's see. Looks like you guys have got a 5-star recruit that is coming through in the 2020 class, so that should help you guys quite a bit, but you're going to need more than one. Thoughts on Michigan? Michigan's one of those teams where Coach Harbaugh he's always like got that stance where he's like, and he reminds me of that lady that's in, like, I think she's in like some pink yoga pants and the big glasses on. It's always like squinting and stuff. That meme, he always reminds me of that lady. I think Michigan has a good defense, but you got to have more than that to win games. Does Hurts the Heisman? No, he does not win the Heisman. I think he's had his opportunity to win the Heisman, and he didn't. And I think that because of that, there's kind of a, you look at him and go, you had your shot, and then move on to the next guy. ACC. The ACC, there's some people that are saying that UNC can beat Clemson, but I don't see how that's going to happen. The ACC is definitely not what it used to be. But it's got some work to do. Clemson's got a cupcake schedule. I mean, they'll demolish everybody they play. Alabama's got an okay schedule, more cupcake schedule, but an okay schedule. Georgia's got an okay schedule. University of South Carolina has an abysmal schedule. It's probably one of the toughest schedules in the nation. 1-2 out of the last 3. Not saying they're a bad team. Ted, which one are you talking about? Are you talking about Clemson winning the national title, or are you talking about UNC beating Clemson? Thoughts on where UGA 2020 class could end up being ranked? The 2020 class is still a long way out, but I think again we'll be in the top 2 or 3, if not the number 1. The fact that you can turn around and you can point at our team and say, hey, by the way, we've got 21 or 22 5-stars on the field right now. Don't you want to come be a part of this? Right on, Ted. I think Hurts will do well in that conference. He can run, and we'll have a good line of receivers. Kind of expect him to play to win again in the playoffs in the next year or 2. Oklahoma is one of those teams where they're very resilient. I think that their coach does an excellent job of coaching. I think he's another one of those teams where, kind of like Dabo Swinney, he picks out the guys he wants, and then he picks out the guy he wants, and then he puts them in that position and trains them up. I'm not sure. I'm not sure that Hurts is the kind of quarterback that they would like to have. I think it was just the best quarterback they could get to fill that position. Hurts has a ton of experience, but as far as an arm goes, he doesn't really have much of an arm. He's more of a runner. He's a passing running back is what he is. And I don't know that that's going to fit with Oklahoma. I think you're going to see the receivers have some great talent, and they're going to have to hawk down some of these balls, but I just don't feel like he's the kind of I don't think he's as good as Johnny Manziel or Baker Mayfield. I just don't think he's as good as those guys as far as arm accuracy. Penn State had a sophomore 5-star running back, redshirt freshman 5-star wide receiver, 4-star, and in our 2020 and 21, we see playoff in the next 2 to 3 years. Gage, buddy, while that is possible, there's a lot of work to be done, and you have to consider that the guys that you're playing against, a lot of those teams, they have a lot more than just one 5-star. They got a lot more. And I know that you can have a whole bunch of 5-stars on the field. That doesn't guarantee a win. I get that. But the more 5-stars you have, the more likely you are to go out there and dominate. Think of OU goes backwards with Hurts. I agree. I think that Hurts in this year, I don't think Riley's going to have enough time to teach him how to be a dominant quarterback in that division. I don't. I think that he's going to see different kinds of defenses. He's going to see different kinds of the offense. He's got to learn a whole new offense. It's completely different. So I don't expect him to come out there and dominate. I really don't. Lyndon Dixon sounds accurate to me. I missed something there. Clemson may lose to Syracuse this year. Texas A&M come closest not to defeat them. Oh, that's right. I forgot they play Texas A&M. I forgot about that. Horrible downfield passer. Yeah, he's bad at how he feels down. But still, let's take a quick. I started some new medication, so I'm hacking and coughing like I've got tuberculosis or something over here. I'm dying. The problem that you run into with downfield passing is that if you don't have a quarterback who's used to seeing that kind of speed all the time, it's difficult. I mean, you're talking about timing passes, not just with your guy, but you've also got to find a way to time the pass to outthrow the defender. And in that particular conference, I think that the defensive backs, the cornerbacks, and the safeties are faster. I think that there's an opportunity he can do well, but I think you're going to see a lot of interceptions. Florida's crash and burn is hilarious. Cousin Eddie get Twitter, had my ribs hurting from the. I don't know if there's been a conversation that's been had with the athletic department or what, but I can assure you that right now the entire University of Florida is on damage control, talking to these players, trying to go, whoa. You don't need to transfer anywhere. We're going to take care of you. We're going to, whatever you need. What do you need? You need a frying pan? We got plenty of frying pans. We'll hand anybody a frying pan you want. Free frying pans at University of Florida. A get out of jail free card for every new recruit. Did Mullet's wife talk stealing and returning? Oh, John. Did he fly? Did he really fly out there? Did he really get him back? I don't know. I gotta look, dude. Let me check. Are y'all just pulling my leg? You guys messing with me? I thought I read somewhere that Mullen flew out there to California. I don't know. I read the okay, so there's a report here from Chris Steele returned to Florida, not out of the question after apology. So it looks like, let me see if I can pull this up. This is the defensive back. God. Steele's transfer was reported coaching staff, but not granted the request to change his dormitory. Yeah. And it talks about the assault. This will be the second time in 3 years that one of the top team freshmen will not play it down at Florida. Wow. I don't know. I guess he went out. I guess they apologized to him or something. I imagine Jalen Hurts is feeling the pressure to prove himself. When Jalen gets frustrated, he tends to make mistakes. Yeah, that's highly likely. So it's just one of those things now where what can Jalen Hurts actually do in that play scheme? Can he deal with the speed? Can he deal with the fact that he's not the best passer? I mean, the two guys they had before him, I believe, were Heisman Trophy winners, and now you're bringing this guy in who's, I think he's been up for the Heisman a couple of times, but he's lost it. And then he got beat out for the starting job at Alabama because he can't throw. So there's a lot going on with that, but we'll see. First couple of games should tell you what you need to know about Jalen Hurts, because I think the first couple of games are pretty easy. I don't want to pull for Oklahoma, but I want to pull for Oklahoma to beat Texas, just because all of the smack talk, all these Texas fans, bandwagon Texas fans. First time they've won any kind of game in the past. They've beat any good team in the past 4 or 5 years. All of a sudden, they think they're winning a national title. Same thing with Florida State, except they hadn't beat anybody. Florida, obviously, one of the biggest dumpster fires I've seen in years, and I just don't know what they're going to be able to do to fix it. I think Steele basically told them that he may return to Florida, but I think right now he's waiting to see what options he's going to get, and he gets a better option, he's gone. If nobody offers that kid a position, then he might go back to Florida. But I bet in the meantime, he's looking for somebody better to go to go play for. A defensive back like him, I wouldn't be surprised to see Clemson make him an offer if they're not full up on scholarships. We'll just have to wait and see. As far as that goes, I think in the next couple of days you guys will see a little more players leaving Florida. I think you'll see more damage control. You'll probably see Mullen shut up for a little while, but I doubt it. You'll probably see him shut up for a little while, but I doubt it's permanent. I think he'll be back talking smack before too much longer, just because he's not smart enough to not. All right, guys. Any questions you want to throw at me real quick? About to call it a day here. Getting close to an hour. Got some stuff I'm going to throw in the smoker here in just a little bit and hang out with the family. Cousin Eddie. Good night. Smoke some mullet. I don't have to. It smokes itself. Well, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. We'll catch you guys later. As always, have a great day. God bless. Go Dogs.